You ready?
Yeah, I guess.
All
I
right.
don't know.
There's been a lot of hostility between our shows.
I don't know. I don't know if hostility is the right. So it didn't start off as hostility. What we got back was hostility. I feel like because we
What did it
were.
start as?
I think it was the random athlete draft, and it was just all it was Ben just commenting. He was just making a joke and more just like, hey,
Yeah.
why didn't you guys have us on? Like this is like our bread and butter, And then it just kind of escalated from there. I don't know
That's
if
the
it's.
thing though, is we've been waiting. I mean, so when we did the pause of all the shows in January for my own personal mental health,
Mm-hmm.
basically, like it's just really is just two shows right now. And
Yep.
so we definitely got bored because we used to like rip on Denny, and then I'd be on Monday night and it'd be like Denny and Alex, like we ripped
Yep.
on YouTube, and then we go to Austin shit, and like you would run the gambit of it. So I think it was a two-part. Part one was just perfect storm of us being like, oh, there's something we can do.
Yep.
And part two was just like because I've heard that so many times through Thoughts on the Bench, where like
Mm-hmm.
Josh has been ragged on for being doing pizza when
Yep.
Portnoy did, or like people tell me, oh, you just draft stuff. Oh, that's original. I'm like,
Yep.
no, I've been doing it for like 10 years. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying we're the first people to do it, but like
Yeah.
the amount of people that have come at my throat for different types of content,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, no, fuck it. Like this is the
Yep.
perfect time.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was well, because you started coming back at us too, and I was like, I remember a time when Austin, like, I think it was whenever we were doing the movies that started with like all the different letters of the alphabet,
Yes.
and Austin texted you saying, "Oh, I think we should do this on the rankings court," and you're like, "Did you not see draft day?" So I was like, I know that Deke like has said something about this before. It's not a new thing. What is up, guys? It's your boy Smalls on another episode of The Vault, a weekly show that takes a look back at some of the best and worst jerseys in sports. Benny's not with us today, unfortunately, but we have the founder of Thoughts from the Bench, Mr. Deke Whiten, on the show to fill in for him. Uh, I know Ben's gonna have some comments, some notes going back to you like he always does when you fill in for him. So,
Good.
are you nervous coming in for today, or do you think you're just gonna kill it?
No, because I actually did research. So I don't just
Mm.
so the one thing I do different than Ben is I like look at what I want to say or talk about. So Ben, if you want you could take notes on this section. It's cool to like Google your stuff beforehand. So
Mm, mm. I I think Ben does do a little bit of googling, but it is I hey I'll say this, he does a really good job of shooting from the hip.
oh, amazing. I
Yeah,
mean, if there
yeah,
was a target, he would be second in place off the hip
yep,
to me. And look how awesome you can be when you do research also, Ben.
yeah,
It's great. No, I honestly haven't talked to Ben in a minute. I will say to the camera, congratulations to both of you on your head coaching jobs, though.
thank you, I
That
appreciate
is
that.
super exciting to have that
Yeah,
out there. But no, I'm happy to fill in whenever Ben can't. I know how fun this show is, so I'm just geeked to be here, buddy.
awesome, awesome. So first of all, for the people, how you been? What have you been up to? How's Nashville?
Nashville's good, man. Recently switched over to job about 5 months in now at a new agency down here, so building it somewhat from the ground up. Really cool team, about 13 guys shop over in the Nation area, so that's kind of been the focus. Bean's big as shit. He's about 60 pounds now, a little under, so he's there, and we're doing good. We're doing good. Life's good out here, man. It's no complaints. Every day's a nice little warm weather vacation, except today it's raining. But on the content side, everything slowed down a lot, which I needed to for my life. I mean, Thoughts from the Bench's entire basis is just an ability to create. So the vault's still going. Two Beers Deep is still going every Thursday. We're still pumping out some content here and there. But it's been good. It's been a nice reprieve to not have to do all the shows that we did at one point, man. I do miss, draft day, rankings court, the trivia show, all the shows that we had. But I do think there's something to be said about the run we had and where we were at with all that stuff and the two shows that are still sticking around.
Yeah. No, I think yeah, it's just cool to be a part of something that we haven't quit. I think
Yeah,
is
for sure.
at least so far. I think we've had a pretty good run so far. So as always, I want to thank you for bringing me on board, and Ben. I'm sure he
Thank
has
you
the same
guys.
sentiment. So we haven't talked in a while.
Yes.
Um, the I wanted to ask, how jealous were you that I was in KC for the draft?
Yeah. So, and I don't even know if we had talked about you going there because we
I think
talked
I
about where
texted
the
you
wedding
like right
was.
before. I think
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Which, so we made the announcement on the draft show that next year's draft will be live from Detroit because that's where the draft is at. So,
Okay.
Greg and I are making a conscious, effort to get out there, get an Airbnb, and do the show. So, we're not going to go to the first night, but we'll probably try to go to the next 2 days. Looked like a blast. Was super jealous. I mean, give me the highlights of what you remember.
So K- Kansas City as a whole, I would go there for the draft. I don't know if I would go there for
Gotcha.
for just a trip. I don't think I would take a weekend trip out there for any other reason.
That's fair.
It was a cool place for the draft though. It was like the whole draft setup was I guess it was like in front of like City Hall or something. I don't know. That
Hmm.
was cool. The atmosphere was crazy. A lot of Steelers fans. A lot of respect between Chiefs fans and Steelers fans. We had a ton of Chiefs fans come up to us and just say like, hey, we respect Steelers fans a lot because you remind us a lot of ourselves. So,
Damn.
that was cool. Yeah, a lot of cool places to actually watch the draft. I saw Shefty. I got my
That
picture
was
with
funny.
Schefter.
That was a good
Um,
pick.
and I'm trying to think of anything else really that crazy happened. It was more just being there for like the first round was insane. Just with all the lights and like the music and everything, it was really cool. We were pretty far back just because
Yeah.
we got there. We all got in town a little later, and we didn't get there right away. So obviously we weren't the hardos out up front or anything. But I think we went back the third day. We were there the first and third day, and third day we were like right out front, pretty much right up in that like big pit right up front. So it was cool. I would definitely go back to the draft if it was somewhere else outside of Kansas City. So
Give me your best dressed rookie you saw.
that's a that's a tough one.
Well, and I know it was probably tough to see from back
It
there
was.
and a lot of
That's
the
the thing.
stuff. So I
Yeah.
didn't know if you saw anything or not, which is fine. Or just like I mean, the moment the Broderick Jones stuff had to be crazy,
Oh, it
right?
was wild. Well, yeah, because all of us kind of looked around and we were like, not that because we weren't shocked. We were like, it was a moment of being like pleasantly surprised, being like,
Yes.
we did what we should have done. In other words,
Yeah.
um, and
100%.
especially in knowing the trade that actually happened, that was also cool because like we heard it in real time and it made sense. Like we were like, yeah,
Yeah.
it was sick. Like it couldn't have gone any better as far as that trade. And to get JPJ at pick 32 was also incredible. So
Yeah.
yeah, no,
I
it
actually
was sick.
drunkenly owe Sup Caroline, the Penn State Twitter
Hmm.
fan, friend of the show. I owe her a Joey Porter Jr. jersey because I said if it happens, I'll get your jersey. So
Yep.
yeah, I gotta get her a jersey before the start of the season. That's
Yeah.
a bet I will fulfill. So
Yeah.
yeah, great draft, great time. I'm
Yep.
geeked to actually go see my first draft next year.
Yeah. No, it's a good time. I honestly the biggest surprise of the weekend was the fact that Sean Clifford got picked in like the fourth or fifth round. Yeah. Where did that come from?
Unbelievable
Yeah.
to Green Bay, right?
Yeah.
I mean, quarterback controversy if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, I mean, what between him and Bryce? I don't, dude. If Sean Clifford, that's the thing though. I don't know if they're that high on Bryce Love.
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love, my bad.
No, you're
I'm
good.
getting them crossed. Yeah,
Dude, when they took him in the first round, they assumed that he was going to be the next guy, and then they played 4 more years of Aaron Rodgers, basically.
yep,
And I I think that Sean Clifford, the reason they bring him in is an instant backup, right? But a guy that also like you look at the formula of the Brock Purdy situation, and a
yep.
lot of teams mimic that. I mean, Stetson Bennett going to the Rams was
Hmm.
not as crazy as we assumed when you look at
Yeah.
everything because you want a young guy that wants to win. You want a young, I can't say that with Stetson, but with Sean
Hmm.
Clifford, you want a young guy that wants to win and a guy that's going to just compete. I mean, Taylor Heineke has had success in the NFL at that
Yep.
level with just being a competitor.
Yep.
I think we're losing the allure of the top guys in terms of having to when you have a guy like Jordan Love, you can kick
Hmm.
the tires. but I do think there's something to be said about a team should always draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
Sean Clifford's a winner, man. Like I get that people be like, well, Penn State didn't win with him. No, he's a true football player at its core, and if he ends up being nothing, oh well.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. My opinion on Clifford, I think, kind of changed this past year. Not, I still think that they were stuck with Clifford a little bit, and it was. I think it was more of a mindset thing. I don't think it was necessarily 100% a Clifford.
He was never going
problem.
to take that team up, but if you build something around him, like in Green Bay, there's a chance that he could just be good enough to elevate it. He's
Yeah.
never going to lead that Penn State team to a natty. He can take an NFL team that's really, really good somewhere, though.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Yeah, it's just I couldn't believe when I heard his name. I was like, you gotta be kidding me like that. I
Who's
didn't even think he was
pranking me?
Huh?
Who's pranking?
Yeah, dude. I didn't think he was gonna get drafted, let alone in the 4th round like that. It was a 4th or 5th. I don't
Either
remember.
way, it's crazy.
Yeah, still.
I want to say it was 4th because I think Stetson was 5th or 6th, but
Yeah. All right, Deke. Anything else before we jump into it?
No, I didn't know about the topic until today, but I think I just want to commend you. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I was curious what we were gonna dive into, so there was a lot of honorable mentions for this one, but I think we hit the top 6 pretty well.
Yeah, I think so. There are a lot. There are a lot that we'd leave off of this. But before we actually jump into it, this week's topic is brought to you by Marshall Fitness. As always, Marshall Fitness is your online training resource. Founded by a friend of the show, Will Marshall. He takes you through every step of the way, asks you what your goals are, asks you what equipment you have access to, asks you what your current diet is, where you want to get to as far as weight goes. Every single step of the process, he checks in really, really well. Make sure that you're still sleeping well, you're not too hungry during the day, you're not fatigued all the time. Like, he does a really good job at looking at the whole picture. I'm still a client right now. I think my 12-week program is coming up to an end here, but he did get me in shape for the wedding, tone me up a little bit. So go check out Marshall Fitness. Hit him up on Facebook and Instagram. The best time to start is now. And Deke, this week we're doing college football bowl game names. This is a topic that is not necessarily jersey related, but we're still going back into the vault a little bit because this is something that I think is near and dear to my heart, because after doing a college football show with me, you should know that I love the weird things that go on in college football, and this is just the epitome of that.
It's in the same culture vein, right?
Yeah.
It's the fun about vintage jerseys is around the authenticity of, like, hey, you'll never see this again. Like, this is an interesting thing from the past, and I think bowl names are in that same vein.
Yep, no, 100%. We got some wild ones in here too. I mean, and this one isn't on here, but like, who doesn't want to watch the Pitt Panthers playing a snowstorm in the BBVA Compass Bowl in Birmingham, Alabama? Like, that to me is just it's incredible. I don't get people that want to get rid of the bowl system. They're uncultured, and I don't want to be friends with them.
I don't mind a 72 team playoff system, but make each one of them a bowl game. Damn it, that's all we're asking for.
Yep. No, yeah, exactly. You know what? Have it be sponsored by ramen noodles or something crazy like that.
Oodles of noodles, oodles of fun bowl game.
Yeah, dude. Oodles of noodles fun bowl game. I like that. All right, Deke. We'll jump into it. What do you got for pick number 1?
Yeah, so I looked into interesting ones because I think there's some funny ones, there's some weird ones. The inaugural Glass Bowl. So this is from the 1940s. And the reason it's called the Glass Bowl is because, one, somebody didn't do their research on what a glass bowl was. But two, it's from Toledo. This only lasted 4 years. Toledo played in every single one of them. They played Bates, New Hampshire, Oklahoma City, and then finally Cincinnati, a team that I'm aware exists. But the best part about this is it was just named because they made glass in Toledo, and they called their thing the Glass Bowl. I almost spit my coffee out when I was looking up stuff because I'm like, you really opened up the floodgates of what could be a bowl game name in 1946.
Yep.
When I'm pretty sure we assumed marijuana caused cancer.
Yeah.
And we opened up and we called it the Glass Bowl.
Yeah.
The poster, everything about it is so absolutely nostalgic. And the fact that it only ran for 4 years makes me think they went, hey, this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
And just kind of cut it after that.
Yeah. Well, my favorite part about this, and one of my picks is kind of the same thing. I tried to pull this image down from Google, right? If you Google Glass Bowl, this is not what comes up. You literally get the shopping page of actual literal glass bowls for your kitchen, and like that to me is the funniest thing. That, and I also didn't know that the Toledo Stadium is still called the Glass Bowl, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't know it still was. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very Toledo thing to do, I think.
Yeah.
Like
they originally postponed the game because they were just like, hey, we'll have it next year, and then the team was terrible. So they basically were like, all right, it's terrible, 1 and 2. We're trying to play a bowl game in Toledo, Ohio in December.
Yep.
Not the best location for a bowl game there either. So they were just like, yep, we're gonna squash this and go to some other bowls. So just nostalgia at its finest.
No, yeah, it's like the Hawaii Bowl, where Hawaii plays in the Hawaii Bowl every single year, except in Ohio in December. So not exactly the same appeal. All right, now that's fire first pick, exactly what we were looking for. I'm gonna go with my first pick. I'm going with the Cheez-It Bowl. Now, Cheez-It Bowl, there's a lot to unpack here. So there were, I think, 2 different iterations of this. First, it was in Phoenix or somewhere in Arizona. Then they moved it to Orlando, right? It has since been renamed the Pop-Tart Bowl, which is hilarious. One of my later picks actually has a little bit of a beef with the Pop-Tart Bowl. So the fact that they went from a boxed cracker to I would say pretty good breakfast pastry for a bowl game name is hilarious.
In a toaster, not in a microwave.
Exactly. Yeah, it's psycho. So sickos like me love the Cheez-It Bowl because the very first iteration of it was between TCU and Cal back in 2018, where it was a 7-0 game into the fourth quarter. There were 6 interceptions thrown in the first half alone. First half alone. 2 of those interceptions were from illegal throws that shouldn't have even happened. Like, it was a second forward pass, and then there was one where the quarterback was in front of the line of scrimmage.
Oh my gosh.
So that, and the other crazy fact about that game is it was the first time in history when the only 2 quarterbacks in Power 5 conferences who stayed with the same school through their senior year, despite never starting, playing in the same game.
Jeez.
That's how bad of a game it was, but that's why I love it, because it was so bad that it was like it's everything that I love about an Iowa-Illinois game, where you know that the over-under is going to be set at 38.5, and you're just there for a bad football game, but you're going to love every single second of it. Kind of like Maction. It's just hilarious. And the fact that they just have bowls of Cheez-Its just around for the champions after. They have a giant
the dude just Cheez-It munching on Cheez-Its is great.
Yeah. They also have a giant Cheez-It box that they roll out onto the field, and then it pops open and there's smoke that pops out of it. Hilarious.
Of course there is.
But yeah, the Cheez-It Bowl is just something that, like, in recent years has kind of gained a cult following, because it's just so funny and it's so perfect that the first Cheez-It Bowl ever was a dumpster fire, and I love every second of it.
Oh, it's so good. I love when random foods that we all love, like the Tostitos, whatever it is, bowl, and like random food gets in it, because it makes you want to watch it. Like, I can't explain why, but it makes you go, yeah, no, I'll put on the Tostino pizza roll bowl. Like, whatever. Who's playing? Oh, Duke versus like Las Vegas. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, I'll put that on.
Yeah,
the Pixie Stick Bowl, awesome. So Cheez-Its, great sponsor. Logo, great too. Just a tilted Cheez-It.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they did kind of nail the logo too with like the sunrise. Oh no, that's a solid logo right there. I didn't even really put that together.
Oh, 10 out of 10 logo.
Yeah, no, that's kind of sick. Cheez-It, I mean, So they're sponsoring. What are they sponsoring this year? I think the Citrus Bowl or something. They're
Oh,
sponsoring something.
yeah,
Still not a great bowl, but it's Cheez-It is still in the bowl business. Let me put it that way.
as they should be, man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Deke, what do you got for pick two?
Yeah, the next one was strictly name adventure, and then I dove a little bit into it, and I'm so glad I picked it. The 2019 Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. It was the bowl from 2019. It had UCF up against Marshall. This was back, and I looked. It was Dylan Gabriel was the quarterback at
Oh
UCF
wow.
then, and I was like, yeah, dude. Once I saw the name, I was like, oh my gosh, he was there. Um, didn't know this. Marshall's head coach's name was Doc Holliday. Hilarious. Just the freaking everything about Bad Boy Mowers sponsoring it. Like it's not that it's John Deere or Cub Cadet. It's Bad Boy Mowers sponsoring a bull. Like everything about this just screamed we put this together at the last minute, except for the fact that the graphic feels like a nostalgic Miami Dolphins
Yep.
jersey. And I was like, all right, you know what? Hear me out. That's actually kind of a cool logo too. The
Yep.
best thing was the international coverage for some reason was on ESPN Brazil. That's how down the totem pole this game was at. So shout out to the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl.
Oh my god. So why? Do you know why it's called the Gasparilla Bowl? Because I don't.
No idea. It was the 12th edition of the Gasparilla Bowl here. It says that it's a sanctioned postseason. I don't really know. Oh, the Gasparilla Bowl, blah, blah, blah. No, I have no idea. I
Mm.
just love the fact that it's Bad Boy Mowers, and I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
The restaurant change Beef O'Brady's did have the
Yes.
sponsorship in '09, though. So that was the Beef O'Brady's Gasparilla Bowl,
Yep.
too, which was almost a name I selected until I saw Bad Boy Mowers.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you didn't send me this, but the picture I have down there at the bottom, it was whenever Florida International was playing in that game, and
Hmm.
outside at like the Fan Fest or whatever, they have like mower races,
Oh,
and
that's
the
electric.
FIU football team was all over that, and like this, I think was one of their tackles. Just like, again, I mean, this is the weird stuff that you love to see in college
Yes.
football. This
That guy
is
was born on that mower.
absolutely. I can't tell if that's a hat or his hair. I forget, but like, it would be pretty fitting if he had a mullet right there. But Gasparilla Bowl, that I mean that and like I almost put this on my list. It was either that or the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl.
Jesus.
Yeah, one of those two. Like the Gasparilla Bowl just by itself is hilarious, but then add in the Bad Boy Motor sponsor at the beginning of it, legendary.
So add in right now, I did a little quick Google search because I was like, I've definitely seen the name. Gasparilla is the name of the pirate festival held in Tampa, Florida
Oh,
every
that's
year. I have
right.
a friend that goes to it. So the Gasparilla Bowl is in Tampa.
Gotcha.
It's in spirit of it. Yeah, everybody goes down there and dresses up like pirates and just drinks rum all weekend, which
Gotcha.
eventually I need to get down to.
Yeah. No, that. Listen, that and what is it? I think that is actually what I've seen. It's like the biggest pirate party
Yeah.
on planet Earth or something like that, and that's what they boast or whatever. But hilarious. All right, let's get to my second pick. I'm going with the Tampa Bowl, staying in the great state of Florida with Tampa. So this one is another. It's a throwback for sure. They only played it, I think, about 6 years back, starting in the 40s. Only small teams were invited. I'm talking teams like St. Thomas University out of Minnesota. Why they were the ones invited to this bowl, I have no idea. They only have one team on the list of names that were invited to this bowl that anyone has ever heard of, and that's Florida State. They were invited once. This was back in the Leatherhead days when you could see here you could get tickets for literally $4. And I don't know. There's something funny about the city of Tampa hosting a football game called the Cigar Bowl, just because there are so many cigars down there. It is like the cigar capital of the U.S. at least. And I think at one point I looked up, they made at least 200 cigars, or sorry, was it 200 factories
Jesus.
at one point during its peak. So Tampa, big cigar town. It's also just hilarious, the list of teams that you see that were invited to it this few years. And it's also funny that I think this is St. Thomas University here. They were lighting up stogies to celebrate getting invited to this bowl game, and you would just never see that today. Like Joe
Shout out
Burrow,
the $4 tickets too, by the way.
I know, dude. Like Now, imagine going to a college football bowl game for $4. That's incredible.
That tax is different. Yeah, Joe Burrow is lighting up a stogie because of the Tampa Cigar
Yes,
Bowl. It
exactly.
paved the way.
Exactly. Yeah. I love cigars. I
Yep.
don't smoke them as much as I used to, but like big cigar guy. Nate Keebler, who we both know, lives down in
Yep.
Tampa now. Whenever he came on the bachelor party, his gift to me was a cigar in a little
Nice.
humidor, and like that was just a perfect Tampa gift. So, shout out
Cigars, man.
Tampa Cigar Bowl.
When I moved into my apartment, a bunch of like Moorhead and Simmons and Ben came down, a couple of those guys, and Ben's gift to me was a cigar. So I always felt very highly about cigars after that moment. But yeah,
Yeah.
big cigar guy, big bowl guy.
Yeah,
It's a
big
great
bowl
one.
guy. I know that this is another one where you Google cigar bowl, and the football
Oh
game
yeah.
is not the thing that pops up. It's like
No.
an ashtray, which
How
is
could it
hilarious.
ever?
Yeah. All right, Deke, what do you got for pick number 3?
I love the fact that something like the Sun Bowl, which I'm pretty sure is the second oldest bowl to the Rose Bowl, is sponsored by not only Tony the Tiger, but the creepiest logo
Yeah.
in cereal history. He's hungry for the booty in that picture. He's kind of looking a little feisty, my guy. No, but I just this whole concept of like I don't know what made me laugh the hardest about this in all seriousness is the fact that they just promoted a straight up sugar cereal
Yeah.
as no, this is the athlete cereal.
Mhm.
Like you know how Wheaties used to be it? Nah,
Yeah.
it's Tony the Tiger now, man. It's so like it goes back to the Cheez-It concept and all that stuff. It's like how big cereal brands basically became cartoons.
Yep.
And it's so big that it's the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. I mean, the Sun Bowl's good. The Sun
Yeah.
Bowl gets a lot of big names and it's just it kills me. It cracks me up. I would like to say though, a former name of the Sun Bowl that is a close second to this creepy ass logo is the Helen of Troy Limited Sun Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah, so big fan of that one as well. Just want to throw out the predecessors. Shout out Helen of Troy. But yeah, Tony the Tiger with this creepy ass logo, it took the cake for me.
Yeah. Again, it's hilarious that it's the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl and not Frosted Flakes.
Yes,
Like,
not
they could've-
Kellogg's,
Yep.
not Frosted Flakes. It's the Tony the motherfucking Tiger Sun Bowl.
No, yeah, you're right, dude. In the logo, he's about to risk it all here.
He's creepy, Ed. He's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, dude.
it's a little weird.
Yeah, I'm a big Tiger fan. Not of this guy though. I think Tony the Tiger in general is usually pretty chill. I don't know
Yep.
if this guy. I don't know what they did with this, but like that and the fact that he was just on the field chilling for the coin tosses. Yeah.
Wave with the hand on the belly. I don't know if it's Pledge of Allegiance or what he's up to right now, but it's a little sus still. Tony the Tiger on the sus list.
On the sus list for sure. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that mascot costume either. I feel like they
He
could've
looks
done
he looks a little drugged up.
yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. He doesn't look good.
does not look good. Does not look good. So the Sun Bowl. I don't think the Sun Bowl was a good bowl to go to though. It's pretty low in the totem pole. I think.
Pitt won it last year. I'm trying to think the last winners I have up: Central Michigan in 21, Arizona State, Stanford, NC State, Naheem Hines. Shout out to him. Solomon Thomas with Stanford was the MVP. Luke Falk, Washington State. It's a respectable one. Like Brett Hundley in UCLA played. Michael Floyd played back in 10. There's some names. Jonathan Stewart at Oregon in 07. It's not one of the good ones, but it's a better bowl than a bad one.
That's
we
fair.
could say that.
That's fair. That's fair. Where is this again? Is it Arizona?
I wanna say yes, but let me actually pull it up to say that. It is El Paso, Texas.
Oh, okay. Okay. What connection does Tony the Tiger have to El Paso?
I think he's of Mexican heritage, but I'm not quite sure.
Antonio the Tiger?
I think that's it. I think that genuinely might be it.
Oh boy. All right. Now this is hilarious. All right. Last pick here. Duke's
best
Mayo
one.
Bowl. Yeah.
The best one.
I had to. One of us was going to pick it. I figured whoever was going to send their picks first was going to get it. So, this one is near and dear to my heart, obviously. This is a bowl game that has popped up over the last few years. Formerly the Belk Bowl, which is also hilarious. I don't know what company Belk is, but they also sponsored this bowl. The social media team is what makes the Duke's Mayo Bowl what it is. They are strict savages and so savvy at pumping up their bowl. It's amazing. It's not even necessarily a coveted bowl to go to, but it is so incredible what they do. This is the bowl social media team that currently has beef with the Pop-Tart Bowl. It's Duke's Mayo versus Pop-Tarts, which I never would have put that in a Mad Libs. Ever.
Elite battle, though.
Yeah, elite battle. There's a lot that goes into this. First of all, in lieu of Gatorade baths, they do mayo baths, which is hilarious. And like they get all the coaches embrace it too, which is like the best part. Like Mike Loxley of Maryland, they won last year. They have they make a ceremony out of getting mayo poured on you, which is hilarious. In the stands as well, all the fans are just pouring mayonnaise all over the place. It's hilarious, dude. Oh. It is a wild, wild scene. Another reason that I had to pick this, and you and I were talking about it a little bit before the show, the Dynasty League I'm in is the Duke's Mayo Fantasy League. Like I said, the trophy that we have a custom-made Duke's Mayo Fantasy League sticker that we have on there. I got another sticker hung up in the office over here. The loser of our fantasy league either has to do the Waffle House Challenge or get the Duke's Mayo Fantasy League tattoo somewhere on their body. So
wow.
One of our buddies decided not to do the Waffle House Challenge, and he currently has a Duke's Mayo tattoo on his thigh.
Good for him.
Good
for him.
Yeah, but the Duke's Mayo Bowl, elite, they dominate bowl season until like
notable. Keep going.
Well, yeah. So I think they dominate bowl season up until the playoff starts. Like everyone on Twitter just talks about the Duke Mayo Bowl. There's also a cool fact here. The game last year was the first time in the last 12 years. Again, it was the Belk Bowl before, but first time in 12 years that the game did not have a first round pick.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was so my notable comment was to the MVPs of this game.
Mm-hmm.
So going back, Matt Schaub in 03, you have Pat White 08, you have Dion Lewis 09, you have Mike Glennon 11, Ryan Switzer 13, Chubb 14, Prescott 15, John Wolford 17, Olamide Zacchaeus 18, Lynn Bolden. I mean, that's a really impressive number of actual players that are in there.
Yeah. It is wild because, I mean, you don't think Duke's Mayo and think, oh, this is a great bowl game to play in.
Yes.
But, like, it kind of is. Like, there are some good teams that have played in this game over the years. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Nick Chubb Georgia team was in it is kind of crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know Dak Prescott played in it. I guess it was probably the Belk Bowl then, if I had to guess.
Maybe. That was in 15.
Yeah.
So it might have been.
No, yeah. Duke's Mayo, elite. You were saying that Duke's Mayo is a bigger thing down south than it is?
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that love Duke's Mayo down here. I'd never had mayonnaise till I had it on sandwiches, but I never had mayo till I got down here, and big Duke's guy now. But yeah, it's massive down here. And I have friends that wear the hats and stuff, and like everyone knows there's stickers of it at every bar. Like it's crazy.
Damn. I didn't know it was like that big of a deal. Do you think that's a recent thing? Or like is it like more
probably?
Like
I don't know if it's gonna be ingrained in people, but I think their branding is just cool. Like I think it's one of those. It's like, oh well, they're a cool brand. So
Gotcha. I think I might need to get a Duke's Mayo hat.
The hats are sick. My buddy Jared has one. It's pretty cool.
Is it like one of those Bass Pro Shops hats?
Yes. It's like a trucker hat with it's like this hat with the nice brim if the back was all mesh.
Gotcha. Yeah, I might need to look into getting a Duke's Mayo
I would
hat.
highly recommend, dude. They kill
sick.
it.
That's sick. All right. Wrapping up. Just to recap, we had the Glass Bowl, hilarious. The Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl, another old timer, and then the Sus Boy over here, Antonio the Tiger, down at the Sun Bowl, which is great. Cheez-It Bowl, home to one of the worst games in college football history. Tampa Cigar Bowl, I love me a Tampa Cigar, and then the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Obviously, we just talked about them just being absolute legends. Deke, I think we hit all the big ones. You know.
There's always a bunch of other ones. Like there's iconic bowls. Like big fan of the pinstripe bowl. Big
Mm-hmm.
fan of like you were saying the compass. There's always some interesting ones. I think if we ever get back on, we could do this again, but talk about what the players actually get. Because looking at
Mm,
the packages of what the players receive from each bowl, like there was one year where they all got Wii's or
yeah,
something like that, and it's just so ridiculous. But college bowl games, man, you just you when you make one, it's like a next level excitement for the teams that aren't in the playoffs.
yeah.
So I do hope that when the playoffs expand a little bit, we don't lose the luster of the bowl games.
Mm-hmm.
They're just too fun, man.
Yeah. Not well, yeah, and plus like if you're going to I don't know, Central Michigan, going to a bowl game down south has got to be like the highlight of your
Yes,
season, right? Like
of your life probably if you're in
prob
Central Michigan.
yeah. Now if you're going to the Duke's Mayo Bowl, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Well, Deke, I as always I appreciate you hopping
Yeah,
on.
buddy.
Always good talking to you. I think we killed it this week. So, as always, I appreciate you coming on.
Had to knock the rust off. Shout out Will Marshall. Shout out
Yep.
Ben for not being here so I could jump on a show, and shout out the Vault.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, guys, this has been the Vault Weekly Show that takes a look back at some of the best and worst jerseys in sports. We'll be back next week as always. Peace.